Basketball Sports Network. I am your host, Mark, joined today by Chris. Chris, it's been a long time. We talk about baseball pretty much every day, but this is the first time in quite a bit that we've gotten from a mic and recorded our thoughts.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's good to be back. The other day I was just like, oh, why don't we start recording again? Because we've been talking a lot of baseball, and no one really hears it besides us, so might as well give something to the viewers.
Yeah, we feel we have good takes, good things to offer. We're entertaining. And baseball is, I think, it's pretty hot right now in the news. Obviously, the All-Star game just passed, the Home Run Derby. We're at the break. How have you felt about the first half of the season, like all things considered?
Well, I mean, it feels great, honestly. I feel like compared to last year, how last year was so watered down and not real, no fans, I feel like it's gone really well. I mean, the fans have gone up in every stadium since the start of the season, and I think it's trending in the right direction. There's a lot of fun races. This should be one of the more interesting trade deadlines that we've had in a while. And I think my most interesting take about this year is that it makes last year kind of feel so unreal, you know? Like, It makes last year feel so flawed and just, I don't know, it just makes I feel like last year ages worse and worse every day
of course.
This year goes.
Obviously, the pandemic shortened season. It was 60 games. It's tough for me. I'm in a similar boat with you as for the 60-game season. I try not to think about it as a real year. Obviously, sorry Dodgers fans. Sorry for people who do care about it. The Cy Young winners.
Sorry to those Jose Abreu stands.
Jose Abreu, Trevor Bauer, etc. But it's like give and take though, because I stand by the take that I would prefer baseball to no baseball. I would prefer the 60-game season to no season at all.
Yeah, no, I'm happy they did it. But I mean, I'm just saying in the sense of just watching. I'm a Yankee fan, and just watching them play teams in the Central, teams in the West, on a West Coast road trip, it's just better.
It was flawed. They did what they could.
Yeah, I mean, you can't blame them. It was the pandemic. I mean, every other league went to a bubble besides the NFL.
Yeah.
The NFL got it done, but they had the fall. But I mean, it just this year's felt great. It's felt great to be able to stay up and just watch West Coast matchups of teams that aren't in the same division, teams just from all over the country. It feels good.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel this is the most locked in you've been in some time in terms of the whole league. You always watch your Yankees, but I feel like this year you're very on the ball with every team.
Yeah, because when you get something taken away from you for a year, you realize how much you like it, and you're like, all right, now I'm going to just watch nonstop, and that's what I've been doing.
That's a great point. Have you been watching the festivities, the Derby, the All-Star game?
Yeah, I watched the Derby. I saw Alonso had a crazy performance. I don't think anyone's going to beat him.
I was going to say, I'm kind of thinking that as long as he wants to do it, he's going to win it. Just based on how good he is at doing this. Obviously his power is ridiculous. I think the only person to give him a run might be Judge. That's fair.
As a Yankee fan, I never want Judge to do it.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was fun. The Home Run Derby was good. I mean, kind of disappointing with Joey Gallo and Ohtani's performance, but I think what's lost in the Ohtani performance was Juan Soto. That was 3 home runs on 3 swings under pressure. That's my favorite player, but that's unreal.
I think we expected more from Ohtani, but at the same time, he probably had the most exciting competition between Soto. They had the tie, and they had the swing off, or Soto hit all 3. It was kind of ridiculous.
Also, interesting take is Ohtani hasn't taken batting practice all year.
That's kind of crazy too. I saw that tweet, and I was just kind of thinking,
That's what a home run derby is. So that's interesting. But the All-Star game, I got to be honest, I got home from work a little late, and I did not watch much of it.
Yeah.
From what I looked in the box score, I don't think I really missed much.
No.
I saw Vlad's homer live, and that was, I think, probably the only exciting thing.
That was the moment. He won MVP. Ohtani was the winning pitcher, and it's kind of been their year, the two of them, the co-season of Ohtani and Vlad Jr. Obviously, they're competing for the MVP award. We hope that Ohtani wins it due to bets we place before the season starts, but I don't know. I feel like
we need Vlad to slow down a little bit.
I think this is very fitting that these two were kind of like the standouts of the All-Star game.
Yeah, it's been their year. It's kind of in with the new, out with the old. That's what it kind of seems like now with the All-Star. Too bad Acuna couldn't be there. But I actually had an interesting opinion when I was watching the game. I was just thinking, I know it's unfair because, I mean, it would be kind of the same things every year, and baseball is a good sport, as in you never know who's going to have a great season, who's going to have a bad season. But personally, I feel like the All-Star game, with having just all the stars there, regardless of what their numbers are that year, would just be awesome. I mean, I know it's crazy and it'll never happen. It's kind of a stupid idea because you want to reward guys having good years. But I mean, could you imagine just all the names, the top names of each league played against each other?
So you're saying like
regardless of what they did,
you put in Cody Bellinger hitting 200 because he's one of the best players.
You put in Cody Bellinger. You put in guys like that who are doing bad. I don't know. It's never going to happen. It's probably a stupid opinion, but I was just thinking
you deprive those players who have the crazy first half. We're like, wow, he's a first time All-Star.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's stupid. I don't think
I understand what you're saying.
But you know what I'm saying.
In terms of a pure spectacle. For me, it's tough to really get excited about the All-Star game these days. It's cool when the best players are playing the best players, etc. But Jacob deGrom's the best pitcher on the planet, and I
don't like how he didn't go.
I would say he opted to not go, and I don't really blame him. They're not playing for anything anymore. They took away the home field advantage in the World Series, which I don't know if that should have been anything regardless, but that was the only reason worth watching it. That was the only incentive. The AL wins every year. They won 8 in a row. They won their 8th yesterday.
Maybe they should give them a week off. Maybe there'll be more people.
I agree. I think it's not even a break. It's 3 days. The Yankees and Red Sox play tomorrow. The All-Star game was yesterday. That makes no sense.
Aaron Judge didn't get a day off. I mean, he's off today.
Literally, he probably has to fly to Boston or New York.
They're home.
Yeah, he probably has to fly from Colorado to New York, then he plays tomorrow. It's a little ridiculous, and like I said, I would have preferred to watch Jacob deGrom yesterday as a Met fan, but I'm not upset that he didn't do it.
I think they should give a week. The NBA gives a week. My take was relating it to the NBA because the NBA, I mean, it's different because the same guys are always good every year, but it's always the All-Stars. You'll see LeBron, Curry, they're always there.
But they dominate the league year
I know. But I'm saying it makes it so exciting. It just makes it. But yeah, I guess. I mean, the All-Star game is always a fun change of pace, but I'm ready for the second half to start.
Yeah, for sure. It was a nice little break. Obviously, Alonso, Ohtani, like we said, Vlad showed out. It was cool to see. The pitching wasn't great for me. A lot of weird pitches were in the game this year. Kyle Gibson's having a great year, but you see Kyle Gibson come in, Taijuan Walker, I love him. You see Taijuan Walker come in, Mike Zunino's hitting home runs, Joey Wendell's in there. It was just kind of, I think it was a little lackluster, but I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, my opinion, I don't think Joey Wendell should have been an All-Star. I'm just going to go out there and say that.
He was replacement number 25.
Yeah,
they just kept replacing.
Guys just get replaced like nothing. I don't know. It's kind of, the MLB All-Star game is always fun, but then you see stuff like that, it kind of gets watered down a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm ready for the second half. I'm ready for the trade deadline. I'm ready for those rumors to start heating up.
All right, before we move into the trade deadline, let's just talk about the first half standings, where we are, what we think, how we think it's going to project. We'll start off with the NL East. It's not a lot to talk about the NL East. The Mets are in first place by default because every other team tends to lose every game. I genuinely
think that the Mets are going to be the only team that comes over 500.
I think that's not a bad take. Obviously, I was telling you for a long time that the Braves are going to get hot. They're going to go on a roll. They're going to win 10 in a row. They just lost Acuna for the year. Ronald Acuna Jr. tore his ACL. He's out for the year, which is devastating for the sport, obviously. And I'm honestly concerned long term how explosive he is, how fast he is. It's definitely a concern. You don't know how these surgeries go. Just that we saw with Mike Soroka, his Achilles, he retore. So the surgery obviously might have not been the best. He retore just walking, so could have been a freak injury, obviously. But you just never know with surgery. I feel like we're just so accustomed, we're so trained to be he's going to have surgery, he's going to be fine. But that's not always the case.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. I mean, obviously not the greatest comparison, but our friend Joe we play basketball with, he tore his ACL and then he came back, and the day after he tore his ACL again. You know what I mean? It's 2.5 years down the drain. That could happen to anyone. Just surgery-wise. Shout out to Joe. But anyway, yeah, you never know with those. You never want those surgeries. Even Tommy John surgery, we take for granted a lot that you just come right back, but it never comes. It never happens like that. And then hopefully it does for Acuna. I think it will. I think he's one of those guys. I think he'll just be back and he'll be doing everything. But yeah, I mean, NL East wise, I mean, who's the second team? The Phillies?
Mets are 47-40 with a 3.5 game lead over Philly at 44-44.
And the Phillies, what are they talking about in the locker room? How the COVID vaccine gets them sick or something like that?
I don't know.
That's the rumor going on.
They're kind of
a
mess.
But yeah, I can't see any other team besides the Mets finishing over 500 at all.
All right, go over to the Central now. This is a shame for us because you and I were both on Milwaukee to start this year. They were not the favorite. I believe it was the Cardinals won, the Cubs too, and then they were third, I believe, and the Reds were right there with them. The 4 teams are supposed to be close, but the Brewers are kind of in a really good spot in this division.
They are, but honestly, don't sleep on the Reds. The Reds are, I think they're playing Milwaukee.
I'm actually seeing right now they're 6 over 4 back. I didn't know they were that good.
Yeah, they are heating up. They took care of Milwaukee this weekend. They played them in Milwaukee. And I think they won a decent amount of those games. And now they're playing. They're at home against Milwaukee now this week.
All right, so the streak says the Reds won 3 in a row. Brewers lost 3 in a row. So
yeah,
the Reds went from 7 back to 4 back real quick.
And now they play them again. So,
yeah, no, that's good.
So that's going to be and that ballpark hasn't. Yeah, they're at home. That ballpark hasn't been filled in a while. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be a lot of fun. They're playing good. They got Winker. Winker's been not been doing great in the set the second half of the first half. That makes
he's a little bit of a slump.
But Castellanos, talk about
might win the batting title.
He might win NL MVP if they win. If they win that division, you're gonna have a hard time saying Nick Castellanos isn't the NL MVP. Think about it. They got rid of Bauer. Suarez has been terrible. Suarez pretty much got rid of him.
He's carrying the offense. Joey Votto's not what he once was. Obviously, Moustakas, I don't think he's even played this year. I don't know where Moustakas is.
No, I mean, a good low budget signing with Tyler Naquin. I mean,
yeah, he's helped for sure.
Good. He's obviously cooled off.
Definitely exceeded all expectations they've had.
He got non-tendered, so what do you expect?
With the Brewers, 53 and 39, they have amazing pitching. They are just so tough to watch with that lineup. Like, they do not score runs at all.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be a fun team to watch this next coming week. I know we've talked about Trey Mancini maybe going there.
I think that's a really good fit. I think that makes a lot of sense for them.
Yeah, I think they're going to be interesting because they got to go for it.
They just traded for Ratty to Lees. It doesn't really feel like
No, but it shows that they're looking.
They're trying, of course.
I mean, as a Yankee fan, I'll kill for them to actually look for a bat. But anyway, I mean, the Brewers, they got to go for it. They have Yelich aging. They have Locane. He's aging. Like they're not a young team.
Yeah.
I mean, another bat, they got Willie Adames. He's been great. I mean, since they got him, he's their 3-hitter now. He's been...
Yeah, they're definitely actively trying to improve the team.
I think it's a 2-team race. I don't see any other team jumping in there.
Cubs are 44 and 46, tied with the Cardinals at 44 and 46. The Cubs lost like 10 in a row.
Cubs selling.
They've committed to selling, yeah.
Cardinals, I have no idea.
Obviously, the Pirates are long gone. And then this is probably my biggest story in baseball in the West, with the San Francisco Giants being 57 and 32. That's that's crazy. Amazing. Better than the Dodgers, better than the Padres. I don't think they can hold it, to be honest with you. I don't know if that's me being pessimistic.
Listen, I hope they do. Me and my dad actually have money on that.
The division?
On the division, yeah.
Like before the year you did that?
No, when I was in Vegas.
Okay.
It was good odds, though. It was 25 to win like 300-something.
They have a 2-game lead over the Dodgers, a 6-game lead over the Padres. I can't see them outlasting the Dodgers, but I mean, they put themselves in such a good position.
But the thing is now, even if they don't, I mean, knock wood. I mean, I want them to make it. They're my second team. It's my dad's team, but they're in the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
they're in the playoffs. Like they've built such a big lead.
They got to play like 500 ball, and they're
in the playoffs. Yeah, and because no one in the NL East has taken that. No one in the NL Central. I mean, maybe the Reds or the Brewers, but I mean, I'm starting to believe too, though. I believe in these guys now. I believe in DeSclafani.
It looks like the NL West will have 3 playoff teams.
Yeah, the wild card game. Because then the winner of the wild card game plays the winner of the NL West, which is
really 3
good. Rivals: Dodgers, Giants, Padres, all rivals. But I'm starting to believe in DeSclafani. I believe in Gausman.
Yeah,
I believe in these guys.
Gausman for sure.
These guys. Filthy. These guys are good. They're going out there and they're winning. Even Logan Webb he's been pitching good. He's coming back from the IL. Longoria is out. They'll be getting him back. They're going to be another interesting team to watch at the deadline.
Arizona's 26 and 66 with a minus 150 run differential. That's like impossible. How bad that is.
Remember they were like 500 too to start the year?
Yeah, they were like playing okay ball.
I didn't think that was going to happen. I didn't think they were going to be this bad. They have guys.
Yeah. I'll go over to the American League now. Boston, another really big story, honestly. I don't think anyone really expected Boston to be leading the division at the All-Star break at 55 and 36 with a 1.5 game lead over Tampa Bay, 8 over the Yankees and the Blue Jays. All 4 teams are playing pretty decent ball. Obviously, the Yankees not too great. I know you want to.
No, yeah.
But I mean, they're all over 500 at the break. It's kind of impressive, you know.
I mean, I think the Yankees is just the expectation. That's why it's a killer. I mean, the record really isn't that bad.
They were projected to win this division by a landslide.
Yeah, which they should have. But I mean, Boston, they really came by surprise. They're getting great years out of Bogarts and Devers, and JD Martinez having a resurgence, Verdugo. I think they definitely need to get a pitcher.
Yeah,
I think
they do have Sale coming back. They're expecting to activate Sale in August, but you need more.
You
need more than him.
I think they're going to come back to the mean a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tampa's going to win the division. But
I was going to ask you that. Do you think they're going to hold off Tampa Bay?
I just, with that pitching, I just can't really see. Like they're throwing out.
Are you ruling the Yankees and the Blue Jays out at 8 back?
I mean, it's all about. Well, we got to see what happens in the next few weeks. There's a lot of division games happening in the next few weeks in the trade deadline, but 8 games, a lot of games. I think the Yankees and the Blue Jays are in play for the second wild card, but I don't know. The division's tough. They're gonna have to making up a lot of ground's tough. I mean, the Yankees have a good chance. They're playing 8 of their next 10 games against the Red Sox.
Yeah, what more can you ask for there? Like, it's now or never, literally.
Yeah, I mean. Personally, the Yankees should trade for a bat right now, but they're not going to do that. They're going to wait till like July 28th and do that. But I think that's the Red Sox and the Rays right now. I think the Rays will overtake them just because I don't believe in the Red Sox pitching. And I know the Rays lost class now, but
yeah, I think he's hoping to come back, but he's another guy you can't really count on at all in terms of that.
No, but the Rays you don't really worry about their pitchers.
Yeah, of course. I go to the Central now. This is like one of the toughest division for me. Like, I watch a lot of baseball. Watching these games are just hard. There's not really good players. It's not good baseball watching these teams play. White Sox are winning it with an 8-game lead over the Indians. The White Sox lost how many guys? Robert, Jimenez. They lost Tim Anderson for a time.
Good for them. They're resilient.
Yeah, but like it's just, I think it's more of a testament to how bad this division is.
Yeah, that being said, they're resilient. With the White Sox fans, I was arguing on Twitter. The White Sox are going to be the 1 seed in the AL, and I guarantee you they lose to the wild card team in the first round. I guarantee that. They are not winning a playoff series.
I mean, I don't know if that's fair to say, because they're going to have Eloy back, they're going to have Robert back for the playoffs. They do have a pretty good staff in terms of Rodon, Lynn, Giolito.
Fake, though. That's fake, man. I'm telling you.
It might be, but they're still...
Whenever the White Sox play a good team, they lose. I'm gonna pull up their schedule right now, and
didn't the Yankees sweep them like when
the White Sox
went to New York? They swept them.
They swept them. The Astros swept them.
I think the Astros are really, really good. I think the
Astros are really good, but I mean that's what I'm saying. In the playoffs, you're not playing the Minnesota Twins in the playoffs. They actually opened the break home against Houston. That's fun.
That is fun.
They lost. They got swept in 4 against Houston. They won 2 out of 3 against Tampa. They got swept by the Yankees. They lost to Boston. Yeah, I don't know. The AL Central's fake baseball. You can't convince me otherwise. Until an AL Central team does something, since the 2016 Indians, I don't want to hear about the AL Central.
All right, let's move on now to the last division, the West. The Astros are 55-36 with a 3.5-game lead over Oakland. Like I just said, I think the Astros are just like a ridiculously good team. I don't know if their pitching's amazing, but their lineup, I don't think anyone compares to their lineup, honestly. When you're looking at them from 1 to 9, like their 9 here's like Maldonado. Like, he's obviously not very good, but the first 8 guys can all hurt you.
Yeah, they got a really good lineup. Yankees actually just took 2 out of 3 from them.
Probably they did. Swept. That was really important.
But they're probably the best team in the AL right now. Their pitching is probably a little suspect for the playoffs, but every team in the AL is pitching pretty suspect. So see what happens there. It's definitely wide open, the AL in general, but just with the West, the Astros, I think they got that locked down. I mean, the A's really have not been playing great baseball, and I don't really think the A's are that great.
No, they were really hot.
I don't know if they're gonna be the second wild card. I don't know if they're right now. They got a lead, but
I think Seattle at 48 and 43 might be one of like the most quiet, low key. Like no one's talking about them at all.
No, that's a shock. I mean, they're kind of at the stance where they can't buy at the deadline.
What are they like 4 out of the wild card or so?
They can't buy.
No, probably not. It would be interesting if they tried to maybe get a rental that could help. Like, you definitely can't make a big move. But obviously, I feel like we've heard more bad things about them than good things. They've been no hit 3 times. Kelenic came up and was kind of a disaster.
Pretty sure they have a negative 70 run differential.
Is.
I don't think they're good.
It's minus 50. So yeah, for sure. That's not. It's more indicative of how they are.
It's cool how they're winning games. I mean, it's good. It's good to get a winning culture in there for.
I'd imagine they have a really good 1-run record, you know what I mean? That could either flip it.
Kendall Graveman's been great.
Kendall Graveman's really good. Paul Sewald, ex-Med, has actually been ridiculously good.
Their bullpen actually has been sick. I can't name guys besides Sewald and Graveman and Montero, but
Montero's been bad too.
Yeah, but their bullpen has been really good. It's been one of the better bullpens in the league. But I mean, it's good to build a winning culture for when those kids come up because they probably have. I think they have the 3rd best farm system.
Yeah. All right, we look at the league leaders now really quickly and kind of how we projected, I would say. We'll start off with Ohtani. He's a story. 33 home runs. He leads the way. He's got 5 over Vlad Jr. I think 50 is very reasonable, and I kind of expect it. What do you think Ohtani finishes with?
I mean, you got to say 50.
He's at 33 now. We got about 2 months and a week and a half to play or so.
You gotta say 50, right? I mean, unless the home run derby messes him up. I'm praying he gets 50.
He didn't even go nuts in the derby, which I'm actually really happy about.
So he looked so tired.
Yeah,
when
he did.
Was swinging, I was like,
That was concerning. He was like bent over, like holding his knees. But like maybe it's the altitude. Maybe there's some.
I hope
some stuff going on.
He better hit 50. If he hits 60, that'd be awesome.
Imagine he hits 60. I mean, that'd be a torrid pace the rest of the way. I don't see any like crazy outlier stats to talk about. I mean, Adam Frazier's hitting 330 on Pittsburgh, kind of crazy. I think he'll probably get traded this month.
He's a good player.
The Mets are like talking about him, but 330 seems like outlandish. Like I feel like he's like a 270 guy, like 260 guy years past.
Yeah, I mean he's probably playing out of his mind, but Adam Frazier plays every position. He's definitely a guy you can get definitely a guy you want on your team if you're trying to win. Pirates have a lot of guys.
They have Brian Reynolds. Cabrian, like they definitely have a building block. I want to say
You think they trade Reynolds?
No, I don't. I would love it if they did, but
I feel like you can't.
He's 20. He's 26. He's got at least 3 or more years of control.
He's in his third year. He's a switch hitting center fielder.
I think if you move him, it's just like a terrible message. It's just, who are we building around at that point?
But you want to hope to be good in 3 years. They got Hayes. They just need to get some pitchers. They got the first pick this year. They're gonna have another good pick. They actually have a good farm system now. I was reading. It's fun when Pirates are good, so I'm rooting for them.
Castellanos in 331. You touched on him leading the way right now. He's actually 1 point ahead of Adam Frazier. I didn't realize it was that close. But with Castellanos, I feel like it's not even like a big story anymore. Like I buy what he's selling. Like, I think he's a star in the league now.
Yeah, he's been a guy.
Ever since he left Detroit, he's just been a monster. Like he's been obviously Detroit's huge.
Cubs,
I think he's like legitimately like a top 25, 30 player at this point.
Yeah, it's not too crazy. Like I said, he might win MVP.
He really might. One more, we'll just do like one more kind of crazy standout. Cedric Mullins. Cedric Mullins is a guy that has been optioned down to the minor leagues in years past. Like this is a guy that was kind of viewed as like a speedy contact hitter who like didn't really hit. He kind of just bunted a lot. He's hitting 315 at the break with 16 home runs and 16 steals on 920 OPS. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, it's great, especially in a year where like this isn't 2019 where everyone's like, oh, the juice balls. Like if anything, these balls are like deadened.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome that he's having a year like this. I know Adam Jones was a big believer in Cedric Mullins. I remember when I think it was 2018, towards the end of Adam Jones' career, he kept saying they should bring him up, play him in center field every day. I'll move to right. And I remember they did that in 18, and then he kind of fell out of the fold for a little bit, and now he's back, and he's good.
Yeah, no, it's really good. He's another guy where he's 26, similar situation as Reynolds, where like I don't think they'll trade him, but
you can't trade him. I mean,
maybe it's worth.
If you're going to trade him, like we said, like what are you building around? What are you building around?
Yeah,
then? Like,
I mean,
what's the goal? What's
maybe
the goal for a minor leaguer in the Orioles system to come up and be Cedric Mullins and get traded? It's just ideally, it might be smart, but it's just not something you could do. Like,
I'd imagine he's going to be there when Adley should be a year or two away at this point, right? Like,
yeah, you got to hope if Cedric Mullins isn't there come on, he better be there when the time they're ready to win. He's probably got 4 years left of control left, maybe even more.
Yeah,
5 years left. If you don't plan on being good in 5 years, then sell the team. That's.
Yeah, no, that checks out. That's pretty much it in terms of first half. Now we can look forward. Finally, we got the trade deadline coming up. We have the second half of the season. Obviously, what is your biggest storyline? What would you say is like the biggest name, maybe the biggest team to watch? What are you really expecting or thinking from the trade deadline this year?
Trade deadline wise,
yeah. A lot of players, a lot of bad teams. There's going to be a lot of teams selling, a lot of teams buying, obviously.
I mean, I think one of the bigger stories that a lot of people won't talk about is Starling Marte going to take an extension with the Marlins because they have a lot of good young pitching, and if they could lock him up and their prospects start coming up, he could be a good building block. But I think the mainstream one is obviously going to be Trevor Story and where he ends up because you got to trade him.
He's not having a great season right now. I don't know if that really impacts it, though. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like everyone at this point knows what Trevor Story's about. But he also has the cores attached to him where, I don't know, he's going to be like a really interesting case.
But when he gets traded, though, I think that's going to be the biggest news.
Trevor Story. He's the biggest name move?
Yeah, I think he's the biggest name. I think other than that, it would be Gallo, right? I think Gallo's gone. I think Gallo, is he going to be traded with Gibson? Or are they going to be traded separate?
They could try to cash them out as a package. You get like a really elite prospect group back. But I think it probably makes more sense to do 2 trades. I know a lot of teams, like the Yankees this morning were one of the rumored teams. The what team? The Padres were a rumored team on Gallo. I'm sure every team's on Gibson who's in contention. Everyone needs a starting pitcher at this point. But I've always thought that too. I thought that with the Cubs, where do you package a Rizzo and a Baez together to actually get like a real prospect as opposed to like just nothing for them? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the Cubs too. Yeah, that's a good point. It's I guess it's a term. It's quality over quantity in that sense, but. Yeah, the Cubs going to trade everyone? Are they going to trade Rizzo? Are they going to trade Bryant?
I think Bryant and Kimbrel are locks. I think they have to move those two. They're in expiring contracts, and they're both having all-star years. Like, you have to.
Yeah, I think I read something today that Craig Kimbrel's, like, gone 100%. So that's makes sense. I mean, Rizzo, you want to sign him back, I guess? I don't know.
Maybe both of them, maybe neither of them in terms of Rizzo.
Rizzo hasn't been good.
Rizzo's like their guy, but he has not been performing well in that 2 years. I think Baez is just not good. I've said this openly. Obviously, he's exciting to watch. He does a lot of things on the baseball field, but he also hits 220 and strikes out 35% of the time. So it's just like, you can't like build around those guys for me. He plays great defense. He runs the bases well, and he has power. To me, he's like a super utility guy. I know like people are going to be like, how does a super utility guy hit 30 home runs and steal 15 bases? But because he hits 220, and it's just, when you watch that, when you're like watching him play, it's just like this guy, if they throw him curveballs in the dirt, he's going to swing every time. And it's frustrating to watch.
Exactly. It's just, I don't know. I wouldn't want him. But I think the biggest name, I don't think he's going to get traded, but I think the name that would just get the biggest haul and would bring the biggest news around if Whit Merrifield decides to go.
I was going to ask you about Whit.
Man. Why wouldn't they?
It's time. Like, they didn't want to do it. It's been, 2 or 3 years now where he's been, like, mentioned around the deadline, and the Royals just not parting ways. The Royals are 36-53. Like, they were off to a decent start at the end of the year. They were, like, 10 over at one point, and they were, like, 8 over at one point. Like,
they went for it. They got Benintendi. They got some guys. They were trying to win, but, I mean, it didn't work. And they do have a good farm. But,
thing is, Whit's getting older now, too.
Yeah, he's not young. Whit Merrifield's 32 years old. He's 32 years old.
You're running out of time to cash him out. And I'm sure he does a lot of great things for that community. I'm sure he's a fan favorite. Obviously, he's their best player. He gets 200 hits a year when he plays, when he's healthy. It's just, you got to cash out. We can get an elite prospect for him right now. You're not going to be good now. I don't think the Royals are going to be in contention at least 2-3 years. Like,
he'll be 35 years old. He'll end up being Billy Butler.
Literally. And, it's
not...
His game is very, contact and speed-oriented. That doesn't really age well, and historically, years past, what we've seen, it's just, I think you kind of have to, but we've heard no indications that they're going to.
No, it's not even a rumor. So,
no.
I mean, it's just the name that will just drop everything.
But, Sal Perez, too. I don't think they move him either. He's like their guy. They extended him recently, last year or 2 years ago, but come on. He's an all-star player. He's great, and he's another guy where he'll be 34 when they get good again. He's a catcher. It's not doesn't really historically age well also for catchers, obviously.
It's just better for at least with Sally, he won for them and everything. I understand, you want him to retire there. All right, fine. But, you got to trade Whit.
But he's still playing at such an elite level. It's not like a Posey situation prior to this year. Posey's been great this year. But, Posey was, a 260 guy with, 10 home runs for, a 3-year run where, people are they might trade him. But, at this point, you should probably just hold on to him. Sal Perez is I think either 1 or 2 in terms of catchers in the league right now. He's elite.
Yeah, he is. He's having a great year. He started the All-Star game, and his numbers are crazy.
It's hard for me to look at that team and be they have no pitching. I think they do have a decent farm system, but they're not close to contention.
No, they're not.
And just to hold on to these chips, it just feels irresponsible.
They're old. Whit's 32. It's time to go. It's time to get rid of him. He would be the biggest chip to fall in this deadline. So. They could really they could rebuild a whole farm system with doing that. Yeah. They don't even have to do that, but
do you think after everything that happened, obviously Trey Mancini is obviously one of the big stories in baseball this year as well. Came back from colon cancer, having a really solid year. He has 16 home runs, about 800 OPS. Do you think they can move him? I think it makes a lot of sense baseball wise to move him, but just what he means to that team and what he's meant to baseball this year, I don't know if Baltimore could part ways with him.
Yeah, that'd be tough putting it into that perspective. I would think, because you would think it would make a lot of sense to trade him.
Yeah.
Especially to a team like the Brewers, because you get good prospects for him. But, he's probably coming up on being a free agent.
He's probably a year or two out, I would imagine.
Yeah, I'm pretty, it is, he's Judge's rookie class. So it's after next year he's a free agent.
Okay.
So I think You got to trade him. I mean, he's probably not going to stay in Baltimore. It's not like he's under a big contract or he's going to retire an Oriole. He's probably gone.
I just feel like that's like gut wrenching for them, for the Orioles and their family. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure there are some fans and baseball minds that are like, this makes the most sense, but like, obviously they're in the last place team, but they like rallied around him. He's been kind of like the story for them this year. Him and Cedric Mullins, obviously, but he's like, it's like a delicate subject.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely a delicate subject, but I think. Personally, I think he would probably want to even get traded too. He probably doesn't want to be part of a rebuild. He's not young either.
That could be something where they approach him about it and say, like, teams are calling. How do you feel? Like, I don't know if they would even let him in on that conversation, but that could be something that happens.
Yeah, I think he could be. I think he might want to win. I mean, think about it. He came up in 2017. The Orioles were decent that year, and ever since then, he's been on a losing team. I think he might tell them, like, it's smart if you guys trade to me, and I kind of want to start winning and see where my career goes. So I think going to Milwaukee would be a perfect fit for him. Play him at first base, throw him right in that lineup, bat him behind Yelich. Like, it's.
No, I think that's a really easy fit to look at. He'll bat 4. It's a pretty good hitter's park in Milwaukee. What is it now? It's like family friendly field. They changed the name the other day. But
Miller Park to me.
Last thing I just want to touch on, Minnesota Twins are 39-50 right now. They were a team that was projected to win around like 85, 87 games, be right there with the White Sox at the top. Obviously, it's not gone that way. Do you think they just fire sell right now? Jose Berrios, Josh Donaldson, Nelson Cruz, you think they just part ways with everyone they can, except for maybe like Buxton?
Yeah, they should. I mean, I guess it was kind of trending this way for a little bit, but I think time's up. I think they should sell Berrios.
They're a very old team.
They are a very old team. They're going to get Donaldson, Cruz, like all those guys. I think it's time to get rid of guys like Berrios. He's a free agent after next year. I think you get a lot for him. He'd be the best pitcher on the market to get traded, and the teams will give up a ton for that. So I think you got to trade him. Buxton's hurt so often. I don't even know what you get for him. Who else? Donaldson. Why not trade him?
The Mets have been linked to both Berrios and Donaldson. For me as a fan, if we're getting Donaldson, I need Berrios too. Like, if it's like a situation where it's a package and we're taking on Donaldson's contract and they'll like lower the prospect capital to send back, like, I'm in. But you can't get Josh Donaldson like by himself with like 3 years remaining for, I don't know, it's like 20 something a year. He's just not.
Terrible contract.
It's a bad contract. He's not the player he was. He did a great job. He had the one great year with Atlanta. He turned into like a 5-year deal for like $100 million. Good for him and his agent. But for me, I wouldn't mind him just because the Mets could use a bat, but they have to get Berrios too. Like, it has to be a dual package.
Yeah, it would have to be something dual. Even guys like Max Kepler, they could trade. Like,
yeah, I'm sure he brings back something. Like maybe the Yankees could be on Kepler, like a lefty outfield bat.
Yeah, he should be on anyone. But he hits over 200.
All right, last thing about the deadline. Last thing the deadline we'll talk about, just because I feel like you bounce around. The Yankees are 46-43 right now, 8 back in the division. What do we got? 4 back in the wild card or so. It's 4.5. What do you want to see the Yankees do, truthfully? I know sometimes you're in sell mode, sometimes you're in buy mode, but we got 2 months left. It's obviously not out of reach that they can make the postseason. What do you want to see the Yankees do?
Personally, as of right now, as of July, 14th?
Yeah, sounds right.
July 14th, before they play 8 games with the Red Sox. Right now, I want them to go and get a left-handed bat and try to make a run for this thing. I want them to go to 2 left-handed bats, actually. I think it's... Should I just go again?
Hold on. So annoying.
Who the hell calls a house?
Right.
No, we're good.
All right, 2 left-handed bats. Is that Joey Gallo? Who are you like thinking when you say 2 left-handed bats?
I mean, like, to be honest, anyone. So I don't watch Brett Gardner and Tim LeCastro play baseball anymore. But no, I know what you mean.
Is it Jock Peterson? Is it David Peralta? Like, who are you thinking that would like fit in well, that would help this offense actually like move the needle?
Whether it's getting a guy, maybe get Gallo and then Peterson, I don't know. Like, my whole thing is they have players they can win right now.
Yeah, for sure.
They can win. If they just tweaked it a little bit, they would be a really good team again. I think there's just some things that they have to tweak, obviously. I mean, like Garrett Cole threw 130 pitches in their complete game showing against the Astros. Like, they have guys.
Aaron
awesome. Judge is having a great year.
Really, really cool.
Stanton's having a good year. Yeah, Cole's awesome. And then, like, their bullpen, Johnny Loizaga is great. Chad Green, he's been good. If they did want to sell a little bit, they could tweak it in the bullpen. They could sell guys like Green, maybe like Chapman. I don't know, obviously his stakes. I mean, he's still a as Chapman. You probably get something for him.
His value is at his lowest right now.
Yeah, it's at his lowest right now, but it's still Chapman. The Phillies will take him. You could do something like that, and you could still try to win. But I think there's too many good players on this team right now that aren't even that old where they would have to sell. I think you make some tweaks. I think the tweaks have to come now, though. I don't understand why.
You don't have to wait till the day of the deadline.
That's what I don't get. If I'm Brian Cashman, I would have made a trade by now. I know it sounded like, oh, the fans are all crazy. They want to make trades now. But, like, you're playing 8 with Boston now, and then you play 3 with Tampa. Like, before, like, this is the season. This is the time if you're going for it. Why are you going to trade on July 30th to make, like, getting a lefty bat then does no good. I know their August schedule is very easy, but I don't know.
We talk about it all the time. You can't play Brett Gardner every day in the year 2021. They play Tyler Wade a lot. They play Rene Odor a lot. They play guys that just aren't really major league players a lot. And when you're doing that, you're really putting your team at a tough spot. Like you said, they have some really, really great players, even like the younger guys. Glaber's been awful, but like Gio Urshela's been pretty solid all year. Luke Voigt has been hurt, but he's back now. You look at the team, it's like this team shouldn't be in the position
they have guys. They just need to tweak it a little bit.
And I think tweaking is a really good word. I think there's a lot of players on these teams, like the Rockies, like the Marlins, like supplement pieces where they can get out like a few players here and there.
I'm not even asking for a star.
Like Garrett Cooper and Asdrubal Cabrera. There are players out there that could definitely help.
Guys because just watching the games, it's like watching a softball game where it's like, all right, well, 1 through 6, they have guys. Like 1 through 6, LeMahieu, Judge, Stanton, Voigt. It's like, all right, these guys can get hits. They can get, but then it'll be first and second, no outs. And then it's like, 7, 8, 9's up. Odor, Gardner. I don't even want to hate on Odor because Odor as a bench player is actually really good.
I feel like he's got some big home runs.
He has 100 OPS plus, which is average. It's league average. He's a bench player. That's fine.
And they picked him up from nothing.
He's getting paid by the Rangers to play. But guys like Brett Gardner and Tim LeCastro, they come up in big spots. It's like, he's up in a big spot right now. It's like, if you just have a guy instead, like if Jock Peterson comes up instead of Brett Gardner, you're like, all right, Jock could hit a home run, Jock could walk. Whatever. I don't know. My whole thing was with our friend Alex, like Thursday night when they play the Red Sox, we'll see what Cashman actually thinks about the team. If he sends out Gardner and LeCastro against the lefty, then he doesn't think they can win. But it looks like that's what they're doing. Even guys in the minors they can call up. They have some guys that they could call up right now, and they would be a better team.
Even if you don't believe in them, like some reports say that the Yankees front office doesn't believe in the players, like try something different. Like you're at a point where even if you don't think the player's like a solid player long term, like a different person in the clubhouse, a spark. Like you see it so many times in baseball.
Because the thing is, it doesn't even cost you anything.
A guy could come up and have
What does Jock Peterson cost the Yankees?
An 18-year-old we never heard of. The Cubs would just take anyone to get a return for him?
Nothing.
Yeah, of course.
David Peralta, he's not even doing good this year.
For me with the Mets, obviously we talked about it's pretty much their division as long as they don't really blow it just because the other teams are so bad.
They got to build for the playoffs.
I think Chris Bryant's the obvious choice. They're in desperate need of a righty bat. Whenever they face a lefty, they just don't do anything. They have Conforto, McNeil, Dom Smith. They have a lot of lefties in that lineup, and I think Chris Bryant fits. He's an outfielder. He's a third baseman. 2 things they need. I'm afraid of the return. I don't want to give up an elite prospect for 2 months of Chris Bryant, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But that's like my ideal situation.
Yeah, I texted you that. I said Chris Bryant would be the perfect fit for the Mets. I think that's what I think it's a move they have to make. I think Chris Bryant
he's your 3-hitter, your 4-hitter, whatever.
They need a righty. Yeah, he's your 3-hitter. He's a brand name, and I think the Mets probably need another starter. I think I would definitely add another starter.
I think that might be a Zach Davies package, where Zach Davies isn't great, but like he's a back end guy.
The job done.
I don't think they need like a starter in terms of the playoffs. I think they need a starter in terms of getting through the rest of the way.
Yeah, just always add starting depth.
Because you're going to have DeGrom, you're going to have Taijuan Walker, you're going to have Stroman. Those are 3. Obviously, DeGrom's the best. Taijuan's is an all-star. Stroman's got like a 2.9. And they're expecting Carrasco back. Obviously, it's really hard to project anything for Carrasco at this point, but last time we saw him, he was like a 2-starter. He was like a 3 ERA. He was like really solid, like a 10K per 9. And I do believe in him. It's just really tough to...
You can't count on guys
to count on him, exactly.
That's the whole thing. But, yeah, I mean, I think they just need to get another bat, and I would add another starter for depth. They just got to build towards the playoffs.
Yep.
I mean, the NL playoffs are going to be tough, regardless how you shake it.
You're going to have to get through the Dodgers or the Padres, or maybe the Giants if they're like... They're obviously going to be there, but I don't know if it's like a tough matchup. You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, but the Mets wouldn't play the Giants. Because the Mets are going to play the NL Central.
Yeah, they're going to play the Brewers.
Because the NL West is going to get the 1 seed.
Yeah.
And they're going to get the wild card.
Which, that's a tough matchup, too. They're going to be running into Corbin Burns, Brandon Woodruff.
They're probably going to be underdogs, the Mets.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. I mean, it depends.
It's pretty even. That's
I think it's probably even.
I think they're pretty much the same team.
We're going to
don't hit really
DeGrom
well,
and everyone. Yep. It's true.
So they're pretty much the same team.
But the thing is, I feel like the Mets have good hitters. They're just not hitting, as opposed to you look at the Brewers. They don't really have good hitters, with the exception of Yelich.
Jackie Bradley. Well, I mean, the deadline. It's really the deadline. Really, you can't even really judge playoffs right now until the deadline.
You see how the teams look.
Just so much things change.
It could be a really crazy year with the deadline.
It really can. We can't sit here and judge the Brewers lineup right now. I mean, as of now, we could judge it, but I'm saying in October, their lineup we're talking about Jackie Bradley. He might be the 5th outfielder in October, you know?
He probably should be, yeah.
Who knows? Who really knows? Man?
And we'll come back and do an episode for sure post-deadline, really break down the deals, see the landscape of baseball. Kind of just, it could shift. It could definitely change depending on...
Hopefully it happens soon.
Yeah.
I hate waiting till the deadline, but...
All right, we'll wrap it up with our predictions for the accolades, for the MVP, for the Cy Young, for the Rookie of the Year. Chris, you go first. Who is your American League and National League Cy Young right now?
My American League Cy Young. That's actually tough.
Is it still Cole? Is that
I mean, I feel like...
Is that a biased opinion? He's definitely up there. I think it's him, Rodon, Kyle Gibson.
I mean...
He's 7-0 with a 2, Kyle Gibson is.
I mean, but the thing is, I think I would probably say Cole just because I think... Maybe not even as of today. I just think he's going to get it in the second half. I think he probably is going to go on a run where he just is dominant. You know,
he's the one you believe in most out of all these guys.
Yeah, I feel like he'll probably go on a run where he just and his numbers right now are actually pretty insane.
Really solid, really solid.
9, ERA, and I think not only that, I don't believe in the other ones enough to keep it up. I think Cole, even if Cole keeps this up, I think he'll win Cy Young because I don't think the others will. But I think he's going to get hot.
The only player of his ability that was in the race with him was Glasnow. Glasnow's now out of the race.
Out.
Giolito's got a 4.5. Shane Bieber's hurt.
Kyle Gibson might not be in the AL.
Yeah.
And then Rondon.
I'm taking Cole as well. What do you got for the National League?
I mean, it's DeGrom.
It's DeGrom.
That's not really an argument.
That was easy. I remember a lot of people coming in were Corbin Burns, and he's been great. There's a lot of pitchers that have been really, really good, but
the NL's had a lot of good pitchers. Yeah,
I think Jake's just kind of
years. I think
on a different level than everyone else. He's a 1 ERA through 15 starts. It's kind of absurd. MVP for the National League MVP, it's actually pretty tough. I think DeGrom has a real case for that as well. Right now, I think it's Fernando Tatis. I think Fernando Tatis. I was wrong about him. I can openly say it. My biggest concern with him was injury.
And his strikeout rate.
But
his chase rate.
He's already cut it down so much. He's hitting 300 again. I think he's a similar player to Aaron Judge, where it's just he's going to strike out X amount of time, but he's going to hit 300 and hit 30-plus home runs.
Because when they hit the ball, it's so hard.
It's so hard.
But I think it's probably Tatis. I mean, I'm gonna say Castellanos wins it just because that was the take that I had, and just I'm gonna run with it. But Tatis is amazing. 300, he has all that power, and he's stealing bases. His defense isn't good, but the DeGrom thing, I mean, obviously he's having the best pitcher I've ever seen a pitcher have, but I don't love giving MVPs to pitchers. I know I didn't like it when Verlander got, because they're pitching 30 times a year, you know? It's just different, playing every day, you're on an everyday grind, you're there every single day, and I think the pitchers have their own award. I think hitters should get the award for MVP.
That's fair. I think that if Tatis keeps his pace, there's no shot he doesn't get it. If he falls off or if he gets hurt, that's the other part of with Tatis. He has a lot of injuries in his past. Obviously, earlier this year, he swung and missed, fell down, collapsed. We thought he was out forever, and he came back a week later. But I think if it kind of holds out, Tatis wins. But I don't know if there's another guy. I think DeGrom's the second guy right now. And Acuna, for me, was right there with Tatis, a step below. He's obviously out for the season now. I think if Tatis falls off, DeGrom's going to get MVP.
Yeah, but in that sense, that would be a cop-out year, because where it's no one else really to give it to. And then
I think they're neck and neck right now, but you give it to the guy playing every day.
Yeah. I just don't like pitchers getting MVP.
That's fair.
Remember when Verlander got it over, what was it, Ellsbury?
Yeah.
And Ellsbury had a crazy year.
30-30, a 330 average,
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, the whole second half's coming. Tatis, if he keeps it up, is going to get it because the Padres are good, too.
Does the AL MVP have to be Shohei Ohtani?
For our money, yes.
But no, but like this, let's put our money out of the picture. For me, like it has to be regardless.
It has to be, yeah. I agree. I mean, what we were saying at the beginning of the year, if it's 30 home runs and he pitches, he's going to win MVP. It's 33 and halfway through. I mean, what Vlad's doing is insane too, though.
Of course, yeah.
Vlad's numbers are insane.
He's like a triple crown contender right now.
Yeah, he's hitting like 340. Yeah, it's crazy. But I mean, it's just the worst year possible for Vlad to be doing this. It's just like I mean, obviously, and no year is bad to be doing what he's doing, but MVP wise, like any other year, it's like Vlad's winning MVP.
Yeah, definitely.
But he's got a guy who's pitching and hitting.
He's pitching with 3.4 with an 11 K per 9, and he's hitting 280 with 34 home runs at the break.
Can't knock him.
I think his ERA is a little deceptive too in terms of Ohtani. Like it was a 2.6 for most of the time. He got killed in the Yankee start, which made it go up a full run. Like I think he's pitching better than his ERA even shows.
Yeah, his bat is stealing the show this year.
And the last one, Rookie of the Year. This is a little harder. I don't know if you can really name them off the top of your head. Do you have any idea?
For the NL, Trevor Rogers.
Trevor Rogers
has to be, I think, probably the favorite.
It's like him. It's like Ian Anderson, Jazz Chisholm, but like I think Rogers is definitely the guy right now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then for the AL,
I have the guy. You probably don't even realize he's a rookie.
Jared Walsh is he a rookie? I know coming into the year, everyone was saying what's his name was a lock.
Rosarena. On the Rays, batting third. He's probably like second or third right now. He's actually got like a crazy strikeout rate. He strikes out like every at bat.
All right, let me guess. Who you're thinking of.
You probably just don't know he's a rookie. Like he's having a great year.
He's a rookie. What division is he in?
AL West.
Is it J.P. Crawford? No, he's not a rookie.
It's Adolis Garcia.
Oh, I knew he was a rookie. Yeah, he's the favorite. Yeah, he's definitely the favorite.
He was an all-star. He's in 270, 22 home runs, 8 steals. He's a guy the Cardinals dropped.
Cardinals. Him and Rosarena, ironically enough. Yep. They got rid of him and Rosarena. Yeah, he's cooled down a little bit, but he's been having a great year.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for us. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap this up?
Now I'm just excited for the deadline, and hopefully moves start happening today.
Yeah, it was great to be back. Great to spew our knowledge, to give our takes, etc. We'll come back for the post-deadline show, like I said, where I'm sure we're going to have a lot to break down.
Yeah, hopefully. It seems like it's trending that way. It seems like we're going to have a crazy deadline, and hopefully there's a ton to break down, and hopefully we get what we want from the Mets and the Yankees.
All right, that's going to do it for us with Fastball Sports Network. Thank you for tuning in.